Thank you very much, Mr. President, for your warm welcome here to Ankara today. And let me start with our discussion on Syria. The collapse of the Assad regime offers new hope to the Syrian people, but it equally comes with risks. The situation on the ground remains extremely volatile, so we are closely monitoring the developments. The Syrian people deserve a peaceful transition, one that preserves their country's territorial integrity and sovereignty, one that upholds state institutions, and one that reflects the aspirations of the Syrian people in all their diversity. So it means that national unity must be respected and minorities must be protected. And this is aligned with the principles agreed by the foreign ministers meeting in Aqaba. Europe is ready to do its part to support Syria at this critical juncture. And allow me to mention some points where the European Union right away will be active. Our top diplomat returns to Damascus. We already have a European presence in Damascus through our humanitarian teams. Indeed, we have always maintained our presence in Syria to support those in need, while respecting the principle no contact, no cooperation, no funding to the Assad regime. But now we have to step up and continue our direct engagement with HTS and other factions. We will enhance our engagement in early recovery, including basic services like electricity and water and infrastructure. We have increased our humanitarian aid to more than 160 million euros for this year alone, and we have launched a humanitarian air bridge, and the first goods are expected to arrive this week. Europe is already Syria's biggest donor. Since 2011, our annual Syria conferences have mobilized over 33 billion euros, including 1.7 billion in humanitarian aid, and we must continue this support. We must continue this support with a new focus on reconstruction. This will be a step-for-step approach, and we would need to start a discussion on sanctions reliefs, but this can only happen if real progress on a peaceful transition is seen on the ground. Indeed, the fall of the Assad regime gives hope to the Syrian people, the hope of returning to their homes and rebuilding their lives. It's the most natural feeling there is. However, the lack of predictability demands utmost caution. Therefore, one thing is very clear: all returns must be voluntary, safe and dignified, and we are working with the UNHCR to make sure that the necessary conditions are met. President Erdogan, Turkey has an essential role to play in stabilizing the region. Together, we must also remain vigilant against terrorism. The risk of a Daesh resurgence, particularly in eastern Syria, is real. We cannot let this happen, and Turkey's legitimate security concerns must be addressed. At the same time, it is important to allow all Syrians, including all minorities, to be safe. President Erdogan, today we also discussed the relationship between Turkey and the European Union. Our relationship is as rich as it is complex. But one thing is clear: it is moving forward. For good reasons. One of my first travels at the beginning of my second mandate brings me here to Ankara. Our economic relationship is stronger than ever. The numbers speak for themselves. Trade between us hit a record high of 206 billion euros last year. The European Union is Turkey's largest trade and investment partner. So our intention is to strengthen this further. We launched a new high-level dialogue on trade last June, And we will now start a high-level dialogue on the economy. And we are also exploring opportunities for renewed engagement with the European Investment Bank in Turkey. I also look forward to resuming discussions on a modernized customs union. We both have a lot to gain here. However, as we discussed, progress will require stronger efforts. Specifically, we need to address a number of trade barriers. I asked my Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič to work on this immediately together with you. We also discussed the need to prevent the circumvention of our sanctions against Russia, and of course it is also important to re-establish talks with Cyprus within the UN framework. I want to acknowledge that Turkey has consistently shouldered the responsibility of hosting millions of Syrian refugees over the years. And we have stood by you in this effort. Since 2011, the European Union has provided nearly 10 billion euros to support refugees and the hosting efforts of local communities. I am very pleased to announce today that an additional 1 billion euros for 2024 is on its way. This will support, among others, healthcare and education of refugees in Turkey. It will continue to contribute to migration and border management, including voluntary returns to Syrian refugees. And as things evolve on the ground, we can adapt this 1 billion to the new needs that might occur in Syria. Turkey continues to be a key partner in managing migration along the Eastern Mediterranean route. It is crucial that we work together on our shared priorities and deepen our cooperation on border management, the fight against migrant smuggling, and on visas. There is a lot of work ahead of us, and I look forward to continuing our good cooperation, both in supporting a Syrian-led and a Syrian-owned political transition, and in deepening the relationship between Turkey as a candidate country and the European Union. I think together we can achieve a lot for our people, for the region, and beyond. Thank you.
Dankeschön.